Alright, boys and girls, so today we're going to be doing another egg experiment, and this is called the egg float investigation. Okay, I want everybody to look on their investigation sheet. Let's read our question. It says, given the following solutions, we're going to have some solutions: salt water, we're going to do salt water; fresh water, meaning it's not going to have anything in it, it's just going to be regular water; vinegar water, which is right here; and cornstarch water. Which solutions do you think will make an uncooked egg float? Okay, so that's our question. We're going to have 4 different solutions. We're going to mix some stuff in here, and we want to make some predictions. That's our next step. We talked about the steps of the scientific method yesterday. Okay, make a prediction. So we have, before we start, let me go ahead and pour our solutions in each cup. So we've got water, and this is just regular water. Okay, doesn't have anything in it. And I'm going to go ahead and put, does that have water on both cups?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll fix that. One of them is supposed to be salt water. These are all water. Each solution is going to have water in it. A solution just means a mixture. Okay, so we're going to mix some stuff.
Ah, cool.
Alright, and let me fix this one. We're going to call this one salt water, because one of them is just going to be regular water. Okay, I'm going to hold them up. Kevin, all I've done is I've put water in each cup. That's it. Okay. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my vinegar. Okay, vinegar, have y'all ever smelled vinegar?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of vinegar into my vinegar solution. So I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of that, put it in the cup. 1 more teaspoon of that, and put it in the cup. And then I'm going to put the same amount, 1 tablespoon. And I'm using a different one because that vinegar was wet and this is dry, and I don't want the cornstarch to stick to it. So I'm going to put cornstarch in the cornstarch one.
Oh, it looks so cool. It looks like milk. Yeah, no, it is milk.
And I'm going to stir that one around. Now,
like
you're really not going to be able to see in there.
It looks like milk. It looks
Okay.
so cool.
There's our cornstarch mixture.
Milk. Yeah, seriously, that's cool. Let's call it.
All right, and then the last one we have is salt. And I'm going to pour the salt. And I'm using more spoonfuls in this one because this one's actually a teaspoon. It's a half a tablespoon. So I'm going to do a little bit more than that. Hold on. I'm going to hold them up so you can see in just a minute. Okay. And I'm going to mix that up. Okay, so here's my salt solution. I'm going to mix.
That is so cool. I smell vinegar.
Okay.
It's awesome.
See that? All right. Let me hold up each one just so you can see. So we have a salt water solution. We have plain water. We have vinegar solution. It doesn't look like there's anything in it, but vinegar is the same color as water. That's why it looks like that. Okay, and then we have our cornstarch mixture. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make a prediction, because I'm going to put an uncooked egg in each solution, and we're going to see which one or ones float. So what I'd like for us to do is look at your sheet. It says, I think the egg will float in the salt, the fresh, the cornstarch, or vinegar water. I want you to circle one for your prediction. Which one or ones do you think it will float in? Can you help him out, Christian? Thank you. You were supposed to bring your own pencil. That's okay. Thank you for sharing. Okay, everybody have a prediction?
No, I just noticed really fresh
All right. Class.
Yes.
Oh, class.
Oh, yes.
Raise your hand if you can tell me, what did you predict? What do you think will happen? Which one do you think the egg will float in, Kamari?
Vinegar.
You think it will float in the vinegar solution? What do you think?
And the fresh.
You think in the fresh water?
And the salt.
Salt water?
I think the vinegar.
You think it'll float in the vinegar?
The salt.
Salt? What do you think?
Fresh.
Fresh water? Okay, good. We have a lot of different choices. Before we move on to the next one, let's go ahead and tally up here on Miss Watkins' whiteboard how many we chose. So we had, what was the first solution that it says? Salt. Then
Fresh.
fresh. vinegar, and then cornstarch. Okay, I'm going to make a little table up here just so we can record what our predictions were. All right, raise your hand if you thought it would float in the salt water. Raise your hand if you circled salt water. Look on your sheet. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to make 3 tally marks, okay? Raise your hand if you thought it would float in the fresh water with nothing in it. That it would float in the fresh water. 1, 2, 3, 4. Raise your hand if you thought it would float in the vinegar water.
Vinegar?
The vinegar water, yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like vinegar is winning. Okay, what about cornstarch? Who thinks it's going to float? You chose vinegar too? Okay. Who chose cornstarch water? Just 2?
Yep.
All right, are we ready to find out?
Yeah. Wait, let me do the tally. I didn't.
Okay, hold on. Let's go ahead and record our data, our predictions down there under data. Do you see where it says data? There's that big space down there. Remember yesterday when we were doing the egg squeeze and we wrote down the tallies? That we're going to do the same thing. I'll hold it up so you can see.
What are we writing? Oh.
You're recording what the class thought. Salt, fresh, vinegar, cornstarch. And you can abbreviate where it says data. Find the data section. Can I borrow your notebook and I'll show everybody?
Vinegar 6 or 5? Data.
Class.
Yes.
Hands and eyes.
Hands and eyes.
Hands and eyes.
Hands and eyes.
That's better. Okay, where it says data right here on your notebook, and I'm going to show our camera here. Our sheet says data. We're going to put it right there. Okay. Yes? Right here.
No,
I haven't done anything yet, Kevin.
no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Here. There we go. That's what you're copying. There's your chart.
8.
So we said 3 people thought it would float in the salt water.
How much is it for?
4 under fresh. Yep. 8 people said vinegar.
8?
Yep.
And 2 people said
And 2 people said cornstarch.
Oh. Well, a lot of them picked vinegar.
Okay, who's still writing? Okay, I'm going to give you 1 more minute.
Can we smell the vinegar, the one that stinks? Can we smell it?
Well, if I let you smell it right now, I'm going to have to pass it around to everybody, and I don't want it to fall on the floor, okay? But I promise you it's vinegar. I can smell it from here. Maybe after I'll let you, just to make sure. Everybody ready?
No.
No?
Yes.
Devon? You want to start? Well, hey, Devon, will you just copy it from Johan so I can stop holding this up?
Hang on, Austin. We're getting kind of tired holding that.
Copy it from Christian.
Now we're going to see.
Okay. Can I borrow your notebook? All right. So we did the question. Show me ask a question.
Ask a question.
What do we do? Ask a question. Step 2 is make a prediction. Step 3 is gather materials. Now, Miss Watkins already did that ahead of time, but if you were doing this experiment on your own, that would be the order that you would go in. Okay, so the next thing says procedure. What do we do for procedure? Procedures are the steps you do. That's right. So that's what we're going to talk about next. The first thing that you do in your procedure today is to fill each glass 2/3 full of water. Miss Watkins already did that. Okay, all the cups have at least 2/3 cup of water in there. Okay. Then, no, you're just reading the procedure. I've already written the procedures on there for you. Sometimes you would have to write your own procedures, but today we're doing it together. Number 2. Stir in large equal tablespoons of each solution to each glass. So I put the same amount of teaspoons into each cup, okay? And the only reason I put a little bit more in the salt was because I was using a smaller teaspoon, okay? It's because the other one was wet. All right, and then it says leave 1 glass plain water. Place an egg in each glass. Okay, that's the next step in our procedure, so I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that step here. And then step 5 is just to observe. What does that mean?
Just
watch. That's right. Okay, so here we go. And I'll hold it up so you can see what happens in each one. All right. Since vinegar water had the most guesses, I'm going to start with that one. Okay? I want you to watch. We're looking to see if it does what?
Float.
Oh.
Yes. It did.
What does floating mean?
It's on the top
of the water. Is it on top of the water? No. So it did not float in vinegar. Class.
Yes.
Okay, let's check the next one. Our next one, we said fresh water. This was our next highest vote. So let's check out the fresh water, see what happens. Did it float? No. Look at it. It sank all the way to the bottom. Yes, it did. Okay. Class.
Yes.
Do you remember what we said yesterday? Is it okay if our prediction's wrong?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to do
We're gonna learn something.
salt water next because it had the next amount of votes. Are you ready?
Salt water. Probably salt. Yeah, maybe.
All right, here it is.
Salt water. Watch. No. You can do it. It is. No, it didn't.
Did it sink to the bottom?
No.
It did not.
It says it doesn't like it.
Oh, look at that.
I can't even see the egg.
Now, class.
Yes.
We're going to talk about that later. Okay, and the last solution, let's check it out. Cornstarch. I don't think it'll work.
No, it's not.
I know you can't see it, but I'm going to put my finger in there so you see. My finger went down in there. It's touching the top of the egg. Did it sink?
Yes.
Yes, it did sink. It did not float. If it was floating, you would be able to see it on the top of the water. And you really can't see it because it's cloudy, but we would be able to see it poking out.
It's kind of cloud. Well, it's kind of cloudy. Can't believe salt water.
Yeah. Okay, class.
Yes.
It says at the bottom, conclusion is the next one. Tell Miss Watkins, it's okay.
It's okay.
I had trouble reading that word. That's okay. Let's read the conclusion section. It says, my hypothesis was right or wrong. What are you going to circle?
Right.
If you guessed salt water as your prediction, then you're going to circle right. Everybody, only 3 people guessed salt. So only 3 people are going to circle right. Everybody else is going to circle wrong. And it's okay. And it says, my hypothesis was right or wrong because the egg
Did not float. Because the egg.
It depends. If you chose salt, you're going to say my hypothesis was right because the egg did float in salt. Or if you were wrong, you're going to say my hypothesis was wrong because the egg did not float in whatever you chose. So if you chose vinegar, you're going to say my hypothesis was wrong because the egg did not float in vinegar like I thought. Okay.
To make it shorter, if you got the right answer, you could just put the egg float. Just to make it a little tiny shorter. So we put it in the float. Now you're gonna tell us why the egg float in the salt water. So you knew it was gonna float in the salt water. Hey, look at that one. It's getting all bumpy. It's still.
Class.
Yes.
What do we put if it's right? If you guessed salt, Julianne, you're going to say my guess was right because the egg did float in the salt water.
It did not.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do another project next Monday too?
Next week we'll do another.
Yes. Did you stop it? What eggs?
Okay. Are we ready?
No.
That's okay. If you're not ready, you can just listen. Okay.
Look, it's getting all puffy since we got it right.
It's the vinegar water. Class.
Yes.
Raise your hand if you've ever been in the ocean. What do you notice about the ocean when you get in?
It picks me up. Yeah. It picks you up.
Well, the waves might carry you. Yeah.
Oh, he did it to me.
Class.
Yes.
Class.
Yes.
Jennifer's talking, so we need to have our eyes over there. What do you think?
My sister, that she said that there was salt water.
There is salt water in the ocean. So have you ever swam in the ocean?
Yeah.
Do you think it's easier to float in the ocean than it is in a regular swimming pool?
Yeah.
Yes, it's because all that salt in that water, it helps make things buoyant. That means it helps to make things float.
Oh.
So the more